Peter Hunt, co-founder of PiggyBack. Welcome to IrishStartUpTV.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us about PiggyBack.
Okay, so basically PiggyBack is a transport aggregator and it helps users to plan, compare and book the optimum public transportation route. It integrates several public transport providers, including bus, rail, ride sharing and taxi. So the aggregator is going to be focused on a mobile app for Android and iOS. It'll integrate several public transport APIs and will present the user with essentially a home screen. The home screen will pick up the user by GPS. The user will put in his target destination. Then the algorithm will spit back the public transport routes available. And then finally, when the user picks the public transport option of its choice, you'll be able to pay via the application. So it's booking, comparison and payment all in one application.
That sounds amazing. I'd love to sign up, but I'm guessing you're early stage.
Indeed, yeah, we're working through product development at the moment. We are starting some user testing quite soon. We have our UI and UX design mockups done. The search algorithm and the booking comparison engine is built, and now it's just a case of building out onto Android and iOS.
Who built the algorithm?
I'm part of a team of 6. So our CTO, Andrew Mikhailov, who's based in Kharkov in Ukraine, he built the algorithm. He is a phenomenal technologist, he's a phenomenal programmer. The technology stack he chose to use was Node.js, which is a new framework that's becoming very popular.
For anyone who's not looking, yeah. Basically it means that if you're running technology on a device, but it's running across the cloud, it makes the technology run as smoothly, if not even smoother.
Precisely.
A hard installed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be the server is going to be based in the cloud. But if you look at the different frameworks that are available today, you have like PHP, you have Django, you have all these different frameworks. What Node.js is very, very good at is bringing in all the APIs that I spoke about earlier, the different public transport service providers, bringing all those into like a compact algorithm, and then working with the user interaction very, very well. And it will spit back the information in a very, very quick way. It's very fast to prototype, and that's why we'll be able to get to market much faster because we're using Node.js. So yeah, it's been a great experience so far. I'm very happy with the team.
So tell us about the team.
Yeah,
How many co-founders have you got?
So there was, I mean, my partner Robert approached me with the idea probably 3-4 months ago. We looked a lot at what was happening in the ride-sharing space, particularly in San Francisco, where we're also based. And then we started to put together a team. Robert's CEO, he had the idea, and I guess he's really driving the vision. He brought me in then to help him with user acquisition and business development. So I'm working through a marketing plan now. I have to put together a media budget and all that stuff as well. And then you have Ross, who is kind of our technical advisor. He's based in San Francisco with Robbie. Then you have Trevor Johnson, who's like our industry insider. So he's a San Francisco cabbie. So he's worked very much in the public transport industry, and he knows acutely the needs that they have and the pain points that they're going through. Then you have Ian, who's based in Edinburgh, very kind of a dispersed team. Ian's based in Edinburgh. He's a cartographer by trade, so he designs maps. But he's moved more and more into graphic design now as well. So he's doing all the product design element of the PiggyBack app. So everything you see on the application, from the user interface and the different buttons and the different screens, Ian's taking care of all that. So he's really going to develop this really sleek and crisp kind of user experience. And then that leaves Andrew, who's our developer based in Kharkov, Ukraine. So it's a good team. We're well, I think we have a nice balanced skill set.
Sounds like an incredible team.
Yeah.
How on earth did you put such a diverse team together in several locations?
I can't take all the credit. I think Robert has really driven this application from the very beginning. Now we had made previous contacts from different business ventures before, And when it came to putting the team together, it just kind of happened. It was almost like a snowball, you know?
It's incredible domain expertise.
Yeah, it is. We're very fortunate. I think we have the, if you look at all the ingredients of a great startup.
Sounds like you have it in spades.
Yeah, absolutely. Design, development and business, very well balanced.
What kind of challenges have you faced so far?
I would say beyond finance has certainly been really communicating the benefits of the PiggyBack application for our API providers, so the businesses who are going to.
How do you justify to a bus company that there's value in sharing their data?
No, and it's something that we're still ongoing. We have had.
What's your business model?
Our business model will be a cost per transaction basis.
And the reason I ask that quite abruptly is in the context of if you're looking for someone's API, what's in it for them? Yeah,
absolutely. Well, they're going to get more fares. They're also going to get a mobile ticket booking system, which very few public transport providers have. So it's going to be hugely beneficial to them. It's going to remove paper-based tickets. It's going to remove cash on buses, potentially in time. And it's a really good beta test market for these guys to go out and use a mobile payment system looking ahead to the future. For the taxi providers, they're going to be able to compete with Uber and Halo, which is huge because Uber and Halo are very mature applications and stacks. I think for us, we're going to be like a shop front for the smaller taxi providers as well. So the likes of Link, Swifty, NRC, people like that who developed applications who mightn't be getting as much traction, we're going to bring it in. It's like a comparison supermarket for public transport. So they're going to have their logo, their service at front and center.
The cabbie you mentioned in San Francisco, had he previous experience with Uber and with Halo in the US?
Yeah, he has. I suppose it's obviously an interesting relationship.
I suppose I don't want to ask a confidential question, so maybe I'll skirt around it and feel free to share what
no problem.
Will. But with regards to his relationships with Uber and Halo, how early of an adopter would he have been with those technologies, or what kind of insights would he have brought from that context? He's
very anti-Uber and Halo, and I think that to really understand what this application is doing, it's always good to mention the history behind ride sharing, because as a cabbie in San Francisco, he would have been in a very regulated industry for a long time, and in the last probably 4 or 5 years, you've had big billion-dollar startups come in and say, well, that's the way it used to be, and this is the way it's going to be. So looking at a regulated taxi industry, probably dating back to the mid-1800s in London, to today, where drivers are spending a lot of money on licenses, and these big startups are coming in, and they're just changing everything, completely disrupting the market. So you've a lot of very ingrained people and characters within the taxi industry, and they're not going to give it up without a fight. And I mean, you've seen protests in Berlin, you've seen protests in Sydney, you've seen protests in Paris as well. And that's happening right across the globe. You can't just walk in, say, you're not doing it that way anymore, we're going to do it our way, and start taking market share from these guys, because it's their livelihoods at the end of the day. So it's been very interesting to observe that. Obviously having Trevor as an insider as well, he's very up to date on the data, the statistics. He would be an advisor for the San Francisco Taxi Cabs Association.
Oh, really?
On, I suppose, on issues that will say, regulatory issues that Uber and Lyft are not facing up to. So yeah, no, he's the fascinating part of this puzzle, I think, because he's the insider, and he's felt firsthand the real acute pain points that his colleagues are facing. I think he's a really interesting piece in this puzzle. So
there's huge value there. I think it's really interesting that, you know, we're almost seeing, you know, you mentioned the taxi business going back to the 1800s, but I mentioned Ryanair in the context of what was a startup, and it's now quite a mature company, and their business model is also shifting to becoming a lot more friendly, and it's interesting to see how that's maturing in the face of perhaps competition that's coming through. So looking at Halo and Uber, they were startups, but in San Francisco terms, they're almost old hat at this stage, and we're seeing a whole new tranche of aggregators coming through to really disrupt them again.
Absolutely, you're spot on. And also what's happening, I suppose beneath the aggregators, if you want to put it that way, is that you have the likes of Sidecar and ride-sharing providers like that. So Sidecar do pretty much what Uber and Halo do, but it's usually for longer distances. So you can like book a sidecar from San Francisco to LA. and it's just kind of it's the modern hitchhiking, if you will.
And San Francisco now, I believe, have regulated ride sharing.
They're trying to.
Okay.
They're trying to.
Did they pass legislation recently, or is it still up in the air?
It's kind of like the Airbnb situation.
Okay.
You know, the Airbnb situation. So Airbnb just started. Oh, we're going to set up a room sharing service.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're not going to pay hotel taxes.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "Well, you can't do that."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yes, we can," and they did it. And then San Francisco, the city council were just like, "Well, maybe we can maybe shift the goals a little bit. Maybe we can start to pass legislation to allow Airbnb to exist."
How did you meet your business partner?
We were at a tech conference in San Francisco on a Thursday night, and it was in this big W hotel, about 5 stories. There was amazing keynote speakers, great entrepreneurs. Everyone was really excited, great energy, great buzz. And I was job hunting at the time.
How influential was your experience working with Blue Chief and working at Nexus to go down the route of entrepreneurship? Was it a coincidence? Or
Massive, yeah, really? Massive. I think what Shane did with you, he kind of opened the door, you know, and he certainly, I suppose he made it seem a little bit more credible.
As a career?
More credible as a career, being a young entrepreneur. Certainly when I met him, he was 23, I think. I just saw the energy and enthusiasm he was bringing.
He's just incredible.
Oh, phenomenal guy. And he's going to do amazing things. And he's doing amazing things already.
But that thing that's amazing. So, you know, I grew up, I'm a little bit older than you guys, and I grew up with you know, you got to be an accountant, or you got to be a lawyer, you got to be a medic.
Yeah, go work for the man.
Yeah,
go work for the man. Yeah. And that mentality still exists, but it's slowly seeping out.
That's really interesting. That's what I want to ask you. So you're a young guy, and how did your parents, how did your family react when you said, "I want to be an entrepreneur"?
They've always been very chill and cool about everything. Okay. Even as a young lad. But my family have always been very kind of open to new ideas. They're very, very chill, kind of laid back family. They kind of mitigate the risks. What
about the wider community?
At home or?
Well, in Ireland, do you think is it okay to stand up and say I'm going to be an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. If you have an idea, and you have the drive, I think, and I would say, yeah, the drive and obviously the idea and those key kind of entrepreneurial traits are important. But just be sure about what you're getting into, because a lot of people dive in head first.
So the advice for an entrepreneur is that it's okay to be an entrepreneur, but don't do it for the sake of doing it.
Don't do it for the sake of doing it. I think that's wrong, and we may see entrepreneurs who are just doing it for the sake of doing it because they're just you know, jumping in on the entrepreneurial craze. Be sure about what you're doing. Attend the startup weekend. You know, that's a good experience of entrepreneurship. Work in a startup, even do an internship. If you're a graduate coming out, do an internship in a startup. Look at your CEO. And just say, could I do that someday? And if you can answer yes to that, and you have an idea, you have the drive, and you can build a team, then absolutely go for it.
Fantastic.
But, you know, they're important steps. They're the steps I took. And still, when I started being an entrepreneur, I was still fucking, you know, weighed under by it. It's a big task. It's a big task.
Final question. What's the next biggest milestone on your roadmap?
Next biggest milestone will be raising funding.
Okay.
Actually, no. Yeah, raising funding. Okay, yeah, raising funding is going to be huge because that will.
Have you raised any money to date?
None. No. It's been all self-financed.
Bootstrapped.
Yeah, exactly. Raising money will be the next big milestone, I think. But from I suppose a company, because you can't really control raising money, you know.
How much are you looking for?
We're looking to raise $500,000.
What are you going to do with that money?
Marketing and talent.
Okay, that's great. Straight off the bat, you knew exactly.
Marketing and talent. Yeah, we've had this talk. So yeah, marketing.
Who would you like to hire?
Data scientist.
Okay.
Yeah, someone you can hack into, scrape the data off the back, the geolocation data, where users are, heat maps, all that stuff, and create dashboards. And that's it.
Serious deep tech. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. So, and maybe I guess someone come in, maybe assist me with marketing. My role is marketing and sales, so someone's going to come in and hopefully help me with that and roll out the campaign. So that's the plan.
And any dates in mind?
I'd like to have investment in the next 3-4 months. I mean, the thing about investment is, you know,
we don't know who's going to be watching.
Yeah, no, and it's just like, the thing about investment is it always takes longer than you want, you know, to come in.
Yeah.
it's never really, it's there when you need it, but it'll always take longer than you want it to be there. So it's very hard to predict an investment cycle.
There's a huge cost as well associated with raising investment. Like where do you shift your focus out of driving forward to
absolutely. And I don't want to get distracted. That's the most important thing with the company, is not getting distracted. We're still hitting our project milestones. So if you take the project of PiggyBack being the development, the mobile iOS and Android development, the design UI UX. So that's still plugging away even without investment. So we still have enough cash to keep that going. The investment then, as I said, talent and marketing would be the next step then for PiggyBack. So that'll just accelerate our growth. We'll hopefully start making sales, and hopefully we can start getting wide-scale user adoption. So I say hopefully, I mean we will.
You will
get wide-scale user adoption. So yeah, that's it.
That's fantastic, Peter.
Excellent.
Best of luck, man.
Thank you.
Enjoy that.
Thank you.